Do you enjoy eating seafood? If grouper, tuna, or swordfish are on your list of favorite fish, but you are concerned about birds, turtles, dolphins, whales, and sea lions, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to propose, because it will most definitely affect the price you will pay for these fish and how abundant they will be. Longlining refers to a popular method of catching fish that involves setting out a large number of short lines which carry many hooks that are attached to a longer main line. Commercial fishermen use this method of fishing to catch deep water fish. According to an article published in 2004 in The Economist, more than 500 longline boats ply the oceans each year catching fish such as tuna, swordfish, cod, and halibut. I am concerned because longline is harming more than just the fish population. It is also killing birds, turtles, and many other marine animals. For these reasons, longlining should be either outlawed or restricted. In this speech, I will first explain how longline fishing is done. I will then show how this method of fishing is harming marine life, especially the birds, the sea turtles, and the sea mammal. And then I will offer some possible solutions to this problem. First of all, let's take a look at this method of catching fish. Commercial fishermen set their baited lines about 200 meters below the surface of the water. Most of the fishermen use clear or blue monofilament lines because it is harder for the fish to see. Some of the long lines run up to 80 miles long. The Economist reports that they carry as many as 10,000 hooks suspended on 40-meter-long branched lines spaced 15 meters apart. In the southern hemisphere, more than 500 million hooks are set annually. This graphic clearly illustrates what happens when a long line is set. As you can see, the long line is basically a line that runs between two buoys. The lines are baited with small fish to attract the larger fish. These lines contain up to 10,000 hooks and run for up to 80 miles. Fishermen put out one set of lines and leave them unattended while they check their other lines. The time between placing the lines and checking them can be days, long enough for much of the bycatch to die. This next graphic illustrates how the long line works. Notice how the long line catches more than just the targeted swordfish. It also catches turtles, birds, and marine life like dolphins, sharks, and sea lions, as well as undersized fish. This is known as bycatch. Now that you have an idea of how long lines are set, let's focus on the effects long lining is having on the marine animals, especially the albatross. As you can see from this photo, the albatross is a very large bird. It can weigh up to 25 pounds, have a wingspan of up to 11 feet, and can live for more than 50 years. These birds fly over the ocean in search of food, covering thousands of miles. They can fly more than 500 miles in one day at speeds of up to 50 miles an hour. A single hunting trip can cover nearly 10,000 miles. The Economist reports that more than 100,000 albatross are killed annually by longliners. There are 20 different species of albatross, and 17 of these are in danger of extinction because of longlining. As the fishermen are throwing in their lines, the birds dive in after the bait, get hooked, and are then taken underwater with the rest of the line. Baby albatross need both parents to survive, so if one parent gets caught in the long line, then the babies will die. Besides killing birds, turtles are also dying as a result of longlining. A study done at Duke University reported that more than 250,000 loggerheads and 60,000 leatherbacks are snared each year by commercial longlining. Leatherback turtles are found in the Pacific, Indian, and Atlantic Oceans. As you can see in this photo, leatherneck turtles are quite large. They can get as big as 9 feet long and 6 feet wide. They weigh as much as 1,000 pounds. The leatherneck turtles have been around for 150 million years. These turtles can dive 4,922 feet deep in search of food. The website care2.com reports that scientists believe that today there are less than 5,000 nesting females in the Pacific Ocean. In 1980, there were 91,000 nesting females. Care2.com reported that researchers believe that if the leatherback turtle becomes extinct, then other marine animals might also vanish forever. In addition to killing birds and turtles, many other marine animals are also affected by longline fishing. Sperm whales, dolphin, pilot whales, and orcas are also attracted to bait on longline hooks. This picture shows what happens when a shark accidentally swallows a hook or becomes entangled in the lines and drowns. The Economist says that in the Pacific Ocean alone, longlining catches 3.7 million sharks, 422,000 marlin, 41,500 sea turtles, 2,000 dolphin, and 1,500 whales. All of these marine animals are not intended to be caught. The longliners are mainly trying to catch tuna, swordfish, and Chilean sea bass. What makes this even worse is that 40 to 65% of the intended fish caught on the longlines has to be discarded because the fish are already dead. Many of the fish that don't survive are young fish that won't have a chance to breed. Large animals like dolphin and sea lions depend upon these smaller fish for their food supply, so they are greatly affected by this practice. Dolphins, whales, and sea lions are also attracted to the baits on longline hooks, or to the fish caught on the hooks. They swallow hooks or suffer injury or drown if they become entangled in the longlines. The Humane Society website reports that hundreds of these sea mammals perish each year in the United States and thousands die worldwide. Now that we know the problems caused by longline fishing, let's look at what can be done to solve the problem. Obviously, the best solution would call for an immediate ban on longline fishing. The United States government has already closed millions of square miles of ocean to longline fishing, including the east coast of Florida. Waters off California, Oregon, and Washington have already been closed to longline fishing to help protect tuna, swordfish, marlin, and sharks. Although some steps have been taken to solve this problem in the United States, it is an international problem. At least 33 nations have longline fleets. The Economist stated that there are more than 500 longline boats which set more than 500 million hooks annually. Opponents to these bans claim that the seafood industry could not exist without longline fishing. At this time, there is no other alternative method for catching swordfish, tuna, or sea bass. But there are some solutions to reduce the negative effects of longlining on the environment. One solution that would help the turtles would be to restrict longlining in areas where turtles are known to swim. Scientists want to require that longlining boats be equipped with sensors so satellites can be used to make sure they are not fishing in restricted waters. Another possible solution is to change the shape of the hook from the J hook to the circle hook. Larry Croder, a professor of marine biology at Duke University, stated, "The Nation Marine Fisheries Services is proposing that circle hooks and changes in bait will largely solve the problem. Other suggestions are to change the depth at which fishermen set the hooks. All that is necessary to stop birds from being killed by long lines is to make sure that the lines sink before the birds can get to them. This can be done very easily by tying weights to the lines to make them sink faster, and by using thawed bait rather than frozen bait. Another way to help the birds would be to dye the bait blue so the birds would not be attracted to it. Since birds feed during the day, if lines were set at night, there would be no problem." Finally, the Humane Society International and other conservation agencies are trying to enforce stricter laws to stop illegal fishing, protect non-targeted species, and restrict sensitive areas. Longline fishing is a necessary evil, but there is still a lot that can be done to reduce its negative effects. If everyone works together to help solve this problem, many species will be saved from extinction.